Good morning, good evening to everyone. Welcome to today's edition of Daily Wisdom. Radhe Radhe. Good morning, good evening. Once again, welcome to today's edition of Daily Wisdom from Bhagavad Gita. Hope you all had a wonderful day or having a great start to your day. Without much ado, let's get started. We have a hard stop at 10 today, so we will really progress through what we have to cover today. Less is more. You might have heard about it, right? Especially in case of food, it is said less is more. And our scriptures say we eat un and then finally un eats us. But we are not going to discuss food today, so let's get to the session. Let me share my screen and we'll get underway. Again, a very warm welcome. We will get started by invoking the blessings of God and Guru, like we always do. All right. Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwaraha, Guru Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kamsachanuramardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum. Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum. Radhe Radhe, good morning, good evening once again. So let's get started. The shloka that we are going to do today before we get into Karma Yoga. Like I said, we are doing this recap session for the benefit of newer participants. Having said that, we are going to touch upon the key highlights from chapter 2, like we did for chapter 1. Chapter 2, of course, it's a little more in depth because it covers pretty much the entire range of Bhagavad Gita, and that is why we are spending a little bit more time on this. So let's get started. I'm going to recite the shloka and then you're welcome to follow along. Vyavsayatmika buddhir ekeha kurunandana bahushakha hyanantascha buddhayo vyavasayina. All right. We can take a few hands, maybe 5 hands, and then we'll get started.
Radhe Radhe, Sandhya ji.
Radhe Radhe, Sandhya.
Radhe Radhe. Vyavasayatmika buddhir ekeha kurunandana bahushakha hyanantascha buddhayo vyavasayinam.
Very nice, Sandhya. Hyanantascha. It's a bit of a tongue twister, but yeah, hyanantascha. All right. Let's take maybe a few more hands and then we'll get started.
Mahishasur ji, Sam ji, Radhe Radhe.
Mahishasur Bharatani, okay.
Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe. Mahishasur is also there.
Vyavasayatmika buddhe ekeha kurunandana bahushakha hyanantascha buddhayo avyavasayinam. Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe. Thank you.
Lakshmi ji, Radhe Radhe.
Lakshmi ji.
Radhe Radhe everyone. Vyavasayatmika buddhe ekeha kurunandana bahushakha hyanantascha buddhayo vyavasayinam.
Hyanantascha. Very nice. Thank you. Okay, we can take up maybe 3 hands and then we'll get started. We have some content to cover and we have a very nice presentation coming up as well. So,
Payal ji, Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe, Payal ji.
Radhe Radhe. Vyavasayatmika buddhir ekeha kurunandana bahushakha. I'll repeat again, I'm so sorry. Vyavasayatmika buddhir एकेः कुरु नन्दन बहुशाखाः यन्ताश्च बुद्धयो अवस्यायिनाम्
Vyavasayinam.
व्यवसायिनां
Very
राधे
nice.
राधे
Radhe Radhe. We'll take 2 more hands and then we'll get started.
Sur Radhe Radhe. Mahishasur. Yes.
Isha Sarji, please go ahead.
Ashutosh ji, unmuted. You are.
Yes, sir. Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe Mahisha Sarji, please go ahead.
व्यवसायात्मिका बुद्धिर एकेह कुरु नंदना बहुशाखा ह्यनन्ताश्च बुद्धयो व्यवसायिनाम्.
Thank you. All right, let's take 2 more hands and then we get started.
Surendra ji, Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe
Radhe
Surendra.
Radhe Prabhu, thank you. व्यवसायात्मिका बुद्धि रे एकः कुरु नंदन बहुशाखा हयन्ताश्च बुद्धियो व्यवसायिनाम्. राधे राधे.
Very nice. All right, last one, last but not the least, Shyamji, you can pick up and then we get started.
Riya ji, Radhe Radhe.
You are the lucky one, Riyaji. Radhe Radhe.
व्यवसायात्मिका बुद्धि एकेह कुरु नन्दन बहुशाखायनन्ताश्च बुद्धयो व्यवसायिनाम्.
Very nice. So let's get started. We have some content to cover and a presentation as well. So we'll get started on this one. So in this, Lord Krishna is saying, O descendant of the Gurus, the intellect of those who are on this path is resolute and their aim is one-pointed. But the intellect of those who are irresolute is many-branched. Now in Buddhi Yoga, Lord Krishna introduced the concept of intellect. When I heard this concept for the first time, it was an eye-opener for us. You know, the power of intellect. When Swamiji explained it with using some of the examples that we're going to discuss today as well, it was like, okay, there's a higher faculty that we have access to, which we use sparingly. We use it subconsciously, but we use it sparingly. Okay, so that is what intellect is. So let's get started. What we are going to discuss today is, you see the mind here, how many branches are there? Bahu Shakhanam. So many branches are there. Is it a good thing or a bad thing is what we are going to discuss. Or let me rather put it this way. Is it a beneficial or a non-beneficial thing? We'll put it that way. Okay. Forget about good and bad. And less is more is less is what we are going to talk about. Okay, in the context of spirituality today. How is the aspect we will tackle. Okay, so let's get started. So intellect is the faculty that makes decision, while mind is the faculty that creates desires and gets attached to the object of affection as determined by the intellect. So our mind has another compartment. A higher nature of our mind is controlled by the intellect. Intellect is basically buddhi, in other words, you can call it. Man and then buddhi. Man, buddhi, chit, ahankar. We'll get into that concept as well. So we have mind and then we have an intellect. The mind is like, we say, right, man nahi kar raha. There are so many things we say, man nahi kar raha. But if your intellect is the governor of your mind, if it says, no, this is important, it will do it. Right? Like, for example, we might feel like stretching, but we stay disciplined in office. We don't put our legs on the table and stuff like that. Or the same kid who finds it very, very difficult to focus throughout the year, when the exam comes, he's able to concentrate for those 2 hours. Or you may not feel like getting up on a Monday morning, but your boss will be, his face rings of bells in your head and you say, no, it's very important to go there. Or you might be feel like going for a movie, the latest flick that has come, but then you have an flight to catch. So the intellect is the decision-making faculty which tells you what is important. And based on what intellect thinks is important, a lot of things happen. Let's look at this intellect. Okay, now if intellect is convinced money is the source of happiness, okay, it tells the mind, you are intellectually convinced money is what is going to give me happiness, then what happens? Your mind will seek out opportunities to do that. How can I put that next zero? And that is going to give me happiness. Right? The mind has to follow the intellect, and your senses have to follow your mind, and your karmindriyas will follow along. So it all boils down from an intellect. What intellect thinks is important in life. That is the power the intellect exerts over all of us. Or for that matter, if you think prestige is the most important thing in life, some people, they want to be famous or infamous, I mean, just want to be popular for some reason. Then in that case, as we see, you will crave for things that would give you visibility, or people swarming over you. You want to be the next person which paparazzi starts following, because our intellect is convinced fame is the way to go. In other words, mind develops desires in accordance with the knowledge of the intellect. So whatever knowledge is, so intellect is like a vessel. It has multiple stacks of knowledges in it, which we have fed it over time, or it has gotten fed involuntarily. Which piece of knowledge it picks up from that vessel and activates it determines the course of the actions that we do throughout our day. Okay? So that is the role of our intellect. So Buddhi Yoga introduces this concept. Now let's see. Now, if this is the mind intellect concept, right? If you add ego to it, which gives us a sense of I, right? What is this I? Ahamkar part of it. How does it come? In grand scheme of things, let's map it to that hierarchy that we have spoken about, right? You have Purusha glances at Prakriti, the Mahat Tattva comes, or Mahan Tattva. Through that Ahamkar, the form or I aspect comes. That, and then all the remaining elements come in picture. This is that I that we are talking about. And this I is something which is the first thing to come in the world of Maya and the last thing to leave us. When you say if it is the last thing to leave, then how can I work? Yeah, we put Ahankar in perspective. In fact, Ahankar is like, you use this Ahankar to work on your Ahankar and other things. Even though you're trying to make spiritual progress, but that sense of I will remain. I am doing it. I am doing it. I'm the doer. That thing will remain. So using this I, you reduce that I and put it in place. And then finally, this I will also evaporate or vanish. So it's just like that concept of when, while playing as kids, we would have a thorn which gets stuck in our flesh. So how do you take that thorn out? You get a needle or another thorn, and then you use that thorn to take this thorn out. And then when the thorn is out, you throw both the thorns away. So using this I, you work on that I. And finally, both eyes are not needed, right? I is not needed. I will merge, basically. Not merge, I would say it will understand that who's the doer. You are situated in that perfect knowledge, because the source of I is God, right? And this complex, if you look at it, is actually called Antahkarana. Okay, this is called Antahkarana when you add this part. Mind, intellect, ego. It makes it Antahkarana. And this whole complex is called Antahkarana. In that, it is also colloquially referred to as the heart. Right? This Antahkarana, the situation of it, where it is situated, somewhere in the heart. Although we say mind is here, but when you experience pain or excitement or happiness, you feel something here, right? It's also colloquially referred to as heart as well. Now, the mind compartment of it creates desires and attachment, which governs our senses. We know that. And intellect makes decisions and governs mind. This is how this whole Antahkarana works. And the agenda of life is Antahkarana Shuddhi. If you go by scriptures, all our scriptures tell us is that as humans, the more Shuddh you have done, Shuddhi of your Antahkarana you have done, the cleaning of it, the better off you are. And when it is fully cleaned, that's when God will say, all right, now I like it completely and you are mine. So this human birth, the only agenda of human birth is to fill your Antahkarana with Sham and Gaur Rang. That will automatically cleanse it. Other things anything that you contemplate upon or strive for is going to taint it with the colors of Maya, which we are going to introduce, the Sattva, Rajas and Tamas. So this heart has to be cleansed. And the more it is cleansed, what happens? More knowledge you get, more bliss you feel, more clarity you have, more surrender will happen. All these are the symptoms of a purified Antahkarana. Okay, knowledge, bliss, all the good qualities that you talk about. The more cleaner it gets, the better off you get in these virtues. Automatically it happens. Just like popping in a pill, it will do its trick. Similarly, you focus on cleaning your Antahkarana through the technology of focusing on something which is pure. Only thing that will cleanse your Antahkarana is contemplating on God and Guru, which is the Shuddha Sattva. Other than that, no matter who it is, even if it's some personality in this world that you are really, you are really impressed with, they're still tainted with those colors. Could be anybody. If they're not God realized, then they are in Maya. If they're in Maya, those three gunas will taint. And your mind, whatever object we contemplate upon, that color, your Antahkarana keeps on imbibing. So that is how it goes. So this is Antahkarana. So our scriptures tell us, let's look at it, this Antahkarana a little more. Vedantic literature, this Antahkarana consists of 4 parts. Manas, man, the lower rational part of the mind that connects with the external world. This is called man, mind. Chit, the memory, the conscious, where impressions, memories, and experiences are stored. This comes from multiple lifetimes. Okay. The Chit is our companion from across lifetimes. It will stay with us forever. And if God is, Krishna is called a Chitta Chor. He will steal it, but only when he likes that Chit. Okay? And that cleaning of Antahkarana will result in that. And Buddhi, intellect, is the decision-making part of the mind. We spoke about it. Buddhi takes decision. Mind has to follow. Mind cannot overrule intellect. Okay, it's like the judge. It's given its decision, then only mind will do. Mind cannot operate in a vacuum. It has to get a stamp of approval from intellect. Okay, and the Ahamkar ego that we spoke about it, which gives us this sense of I amness. I am this. That is called Ahamkar, or the ego aspect of it. So these 4 things make up for our Antahkarana. And Antahkarana Shuddhi, or cleaning our Antahkarana, is the sole purpose or agenda of human life. The rest all is self-created agendas. Okay. Now let's move on. Now let's look at the multi-branched mind. Lord Krishna is saying people who progress on their path, their mind is resolute. Okay. Now what is this branching out of mind? Let's look at some of the symptoms of it. Right? People whose mind are branched out. Resolute intellect, the example that is given for a resolute intellect is like, Swamiji gives that beautiful example that Maharaji used to go to Missouri, and there they used to have a flower petal competition. Who has the biggest flowers? And there used to be a guy who always used to win. So he was asked, what is the secret sauce for the biggest flowers, the most blossomed ones that you always have? He said that the water supply that goes through the stem all the way up to the flower, I cut all the twigs and the branches around it so that everything is directed to that one flower. Okay, that was the secret of it. And if we have a multi-branched mind, it really doesn't take us very far. Okay, and that is why the resolute intellect is needed on the path of spirituality. Okay, and if we don't have a resolute intellect, then let me show you some of the things, as we would have experienced in our lives as well. The FOMO, fear of missing out. You just want to do everything. Little bit of this, little bit of that, this, yeah, something will get missed out. The world is going to move on and I will miss out in life. Right? Why? Because clarity is not there, and you think what people are doing, you need to do that, otherwise they will move ahead, and you just want to touch, taste everything, anything and everything out there. That is one of the symptoms. Buffet dilemma, you've been to marriages, right? What to take, what not to take. I mean, it's a good strategy to have appetizer and desserts, I would say. I mean, that's what I try to do. You'll never not get saved. It can get confusing, and people actually torture themselves. Okay, so buffet can present that irresolute intellect as well, where you are I just want to taste everything. Okay, I don't want to miss out on anything. That can happen as well. Okay, these are examples. I'm just trying to drive home the point. Don't say that Lord Krishna is saying that in Bhagavad Gita. Okay. Now, this is also another symptom of an irresolute intellect. Is there God? Maybe. Tomorrow, no, I don't think God is there. Then again, you'll wake up, no, I think there is God. Right? Yes, no, maybe. You keep shifting in that, not being able to make up your mind around this concept very clearly because you don't get access to the knowledge. You come across some good kathavacha here, you get impressed, you get an experience that God is there. Things don't turn out well. Some people say, hey, come on, man, what kind of a talking you are doing these days? There's no God. Don't you know that? And you say, yeah, probably you are right. So that is an irresolute intellect because we've not thought about this topic in detail and we have not been exposed to proper knowledge. That's where it can keep on fluctuating. What should I become? Engineer, doctor, IAS, this can happen too, right? Very few people early on in life are sorted out. I had a few friends who were so clear about what they wanted to do, but not everybody. And I was one of those, right? Whatever people would tell you, you'll think that is the best thing you should be doing in life. Which channel to watch, right? Remote, you have seen that syndrome. That is also part of an irresolute intellect. In fact, when Doordarshan used to be there, I think the satisfaction quotients used to be very high because the choice was defined. Now, at the moment you start getting so many things, your intellect starts, And then which path to follow? Gyan marg, bhakti marg, karma marg. That is another decision people have to make. Resolute intellect says, let's do a little bit of this, little bit of that, this, little bit of that, right? At least I'm making some progress somewhere here. We'll talk about this more. And then another one, which God do I worship? Let's do a little bit of this, little bit of that, right? What if one God is, his power is less or it doesn't exist? Maybe the other God will hedge my bets and risk. So these are all the symptoms of an irresolute intellect where we have not really made up our mind as yet. Right? We just keep on thinking about a lot of things, pondering and experimenting and about it. It's fine to do that in the beginning, but then if you spend your entire life doing this only, then God is saying, you are Bahu Shakhanam. That is what the shloka is saying. Bahu Shakha, as you can see in the mind, so many branches and sub-branches are out there. Not able to make a resolution that this is it. And this is what I want to do. Maharaji has that couplet, right, where he gives the entire sar of the scriptures. And he so beautifully says, right, Hari, 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 Guru, Bhajanit, Govind Radhe, Bhav Nishkam, Ananya Banade. Ananya. Ananyata is the point, exclusivity. How will that happen when you have multi-branched mind? No. Single focused mind. You are convinced and you know what you are doing. Right? There was a story that say that this guy goes and asks this guy, the other guy, he asked them, you know what? Do you worship Lord Ram? Or do you worship Lord Krishna? Or do you worship Lord Shiva? He said, I am Ananya Bhakt. Okay, so I just worship Lord Krishna. He said, good. He said, how about you? He said, I am Fananya Bhakt. He said, what does Fananya means? He said, Fananya means I don't even know who other gods are. Okay, I just know about Lord Krishna. So point being, Ananyata is very important. That settled intellect will take you far because you understand and you don't discriminate between different gods and you understand the bigger theory which dictates whichever form you associate to, right? The rasas can vary, but you progress with surety and confidence as opposed to doing a little bit of this and then that and then this. It's like wherever we will get benefit, we will go there, right? That mindset is there to begin with. That is good. But finally, you'll have to settle down so that you start digging a well that will lead you to the water. Okay. So let's move on. Today, I wanted to, okay, so it's a little bit like this. If you have to choose something, which one looks more promising, right? If you were to make decisions, stuff like that, of course, the one on the left-hand side, right? It's a Bhagavad Gita. If you read Bhagavad Gita, this will be your track of life on the left-hand side. If you go with the self-help books, this is where it will lead you, what you see on the right-hand side, okay? So Ananyata is needed, and even in studies or the scriptures that you're reading as well. Anyways, so let's look at it a little more deeper. So if you look at it, this guy, he's digging well, right? Digging well, digging well, digging well. But when you dig well, it's important to first understand the theory and then pick up something that you can really go deep into. It's not about range, it's about depth part of it. Because you continue dig multiple wells and nothing will lead to water because you don't have anandata or your intellect is not convinced. It's still thinking, okay, this is there, but this is also, but this is, but this, and you keep on experimenting and you will not get the depth that is needed on this path, right? Digging out multiple. Now let's look at it from Kabir Das ji. Kabir Das ji said, प्रेम गली अति सांकरी तामे दो न समाये जब मैं था तब हरि नहीं अब हरि है मैं नहीं. Basically, so anyway, this part is that one, this is more about your I and God part of it, where you are having an I, the sense of doership, and you don't have that strong faith that God is the doer. So that that is what Kabir Das ji is saying here. But the resolute intellect aspect of it, if you look at it, even if there are millions of obstacles, the whole world is condemning, and even if somebody has to lay down their life, they will still not give up sadhana. They'll still find one reason why they would do it. Right? That is called a resolute intellect. And for people whose intellect is many branched, they find their mind running in all the directions. They are neither able to develop the focus of the mind nor be able to tread the path of God or spirituality with conviction. So that's where the resolute part of intellect is very much needed. You bide your time understanding the theory, but once you go full steam. That is what Lord Krishna is saying. Right? Even in Patanjali Yoga Sutra, I think there is an aphorism that it says "ivra" something, which means you go with the speed. Don't be lukewarm. Even Jesus had told, either be cold or hot. If you are lukewarm, I'll spit you out. And that is needed on the path of spirituality as well. Otherwise, your mind can continue to play tricks. And if you continue doing spiritual shopping for the entire life, then it's fine. I mean, you will get some benefits, but not at a pace that you can actually get it once you understand the theory and start focusing your direction or energy towards the path that you've understood about. Okay, that is how it goes. Right? There's an interesting one. This is right. This guy kept on digging, and finally felt, and he was very close to water as well. This is a kind of an ironical picture. I picked it up as well. All right. So this is what we had. Any questions before we move on to our next segment on this? Let's have a bit of a discussion on this topic. Or any question that anybody may have around this topic.
We have 3 hands raised.
Sure.
Samji, please go ahead. Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe, Samji. You have to unmute yourself.
Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe.
Nitinji, I did not understand that with the using I, we have to remove I.
So you will still have a sense, right? That Maheshasur Mardini is doing it or Samji is doing it. You will not get over that feeling. Even though you're working on yourself, let's say you are trying to be humble, you're increasing your surrender, that feeling of I would still remain. It will become subtle. It will diminish. It will not be like that ego which is rearing its ugly head, but that sense of I would still remain. You will not lose that sense. Okay. Although it will be more beneficial at that point, but that I will still remain. And finally, that I will also evaporate. That is why it said the ego is the first thing to come and the last thing to leave. When Maya releases us from its own clutches, right? The vices of Maya are so strong, then when it releases us from the clutches, then I will also go away. We'll understand that we are actually being energized by Paramatma, God only. He's the one for everything, right? Like Tulsidas ji says, na main kari na kari sukun, sahib karta mor, karat karawat aap hain, tulsi tulsi shore. Now saints, they reach that stage. They understand it's not me, but we have to practice it. But when we are practicing it, that sense of I is still there. Okay, it'll remain. Okay, any other questions? All you need is love and grace.
Radhe Radhe. Please go ahead.
Radhe Radhe, Nitinji. I just want to say, like, for everybody's benefit, like Arni's story is very good for depiction. And also many people have the confusion, like which path to choose, whether it's Karma Yoga, Gnana Yoga, whichever, they don't have the right conviction. So if you can make the video about that, that will be very helpful to many people.
Sure. We have our video team here and our Insta team. They will be super excited to make something about it. We're always looking for ideas. So sure, we can make that. In fact, look at it. Everything is prefixed by yoga, right? And yoga is not the yogasanas where you do Shirshasana, this asana, that asana. Yoga is the union. So yoga aspect is called bhakti or devotion. So regardless of which path you pick up, devotion has to be mixed in it. Otherwise, it is all zeros without the one. So yoga, the bhakti is the one behind all the zeros. So whether you pick up Gyan Marg, whether you pick up Ashtang Yoga, yoga is the secret sauce. And yoga is like that Amrit, no matter what you mix it to will become Amrit. Right? You mix Amrit with Coke, Coke becomes Amrit. Amrit doesn't become Coke.
Yeah, it's such a complicated issue for many. Like if
Sure.
you can simplify and make it funny, everybody will enjoy that.
Simplify and funny. Okay, these are the two buzzwords. Okay, video team has taken
If
note.
possible, not necessary. Thank you.
Sure, we'll try to simplify it. Yes, yes. I think it's a very important concept, and we'll try to simplify it in a manner which is very palatable and understandable for everyone. So, sure. Yes.
Sandhya, you had raised a while ago. Sandhya, do you have some doubts, questions, or are they answered?
Go ahead.
Radhe,
Sandhya.
Radhe.
Radhe, Radhe.
Actually, this question was a little, so it is about Ananyata in satsang.
Ananyata. Okay, Ananyata, go ahead.
Ananyata. For now, just Ananyata probably will work. Is it important to have Ananyata with respect to the satsangis you associate with?
Sangees you associate with. That's an interesting one, Ananyata. I mean, see, this is how I would see it. Anything that helps you progress spiritually, just do that. Ananyata is needed with God and good. Other than that, anything that is helping you progress spiritually faster, stick to that. Anything that convolutes your mind, or it's like, okay, maybe this, maybe that, then you have to be careful. The key thing is it should support the well that you are digging. And if it is supporting, yes, continue.
Whatever takes you closer to God, just accept.
Closer to God faster in a manner that your soul is saying, yes, that is it is, continue with that. Your intuition will guide you with that regards. But I would say Ananyata is for God and good. Okay. But then the helping aids that you get in your life, obviously you'll use it in a manner that are uplifting and fast tracking your growth, as opposed to spreading thing here and there. So that's how I'll see it. But Ananyata is used for God and Guru only. Okay.
Thanks.
Okay. Yes, Ajit ji.
Ajit Kumar ji, Radhe Radhe. Ajit ji.
Radhe Radhe. Haan. There is a slok in Sanskrit. Akashat patitantoyam yatha gacchati sagaram sarvadeva namaskaram keshavam prati gacchati. So just like a hilltop, you imagine there is a temple on the top of the hill and you have to climb up. You can choose any of the path. You can start from anywhere, but it should be a path leading to the top.
Yes.
It can be a curvature, goal, circle, or it can be a straight line, just like climbing on the Himalaya. And we see that just like you have taken an example of the tree, there is an example of the hill also. That if you climb straight way, it will be a difficult path. And if you go by circular route, it will be easy. It will take more time, but you can reach to the top easily, step by step, like small baby steps, something like that.
Yeah, beautiful.
So this is what I want to share with you. Radhe Radhe.
No, very beautiful, Ajit ji, very nice. In fact, in spirituality, I feel more than you choosing the path chooses you, because your sanskars and other things will make you gravitate towards something very naturally. So path will choose you in a particular life. At least I experience, I feel it that way. Other thing Swamiji says is that ek sadhe sab sadhe na koi. So if you focus on one, right, you will automatically develop devotion and those sentiments for all the gods, because they are the different forms of the same God. But if you do little bit of this, little bit of that, you will not get anywhere basically, because you will not get that ananyata. That connect is not established because you're thinking they are different, or you're thinking this will serve my purpose better than the other one, and these kind of things, it will not really take you to devotion. So ek sadhe, sab sadhe na pro. That is a statement. Yes, Ashutoshi, last one, and then we have a wonderful presentation coming up from our creative young satsangi. Okay, I'm not going to tell you her name because it is very difficult to get. No prizes for guessing who she's going to be, but we'll take the last question and then hand it over to her.
Actually, I don't have any questions. I just want to say one couplet from Bhakti Satak.
All right, go ahead, go for it.
सौ बातन की बात एक धर मुरलीधर ध्यान राधे राधे बढ़ वहु सेवा वासना यह सौ ज्ञानन ज्ञान राधे राधे जय राधे कृष्ण राधे 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 कृष्ण राधे श्री राधे जय राधे राधे. Thank you.
You, Ashutoshi, very nice. So Batan ki, but your Maharaj is saying that seva vasana we have to keep on, and it automatically happens for devotees when they start getting into the seva. They are never satisfied. They think we can do more, and that is a good symptom basically. Yes, Shashiji, I wanted to go real quick, and then we will spotlight our young enthusiasts.
Radhe Nitinji, I have a quick question about Ananyata. In the temple, we have Radha Krishna, deities, and the other side, Sita Ram, right?
Mm-hmm.
And when we do the Ananyata, do we have to select one of those, or we can think? Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, Ananyata means which form you naturally, do that, and whichever that form is, it could be Shiv, it could be Ram, it could be Krishna. They say just continue building that connect with that form. If you understand that Ram and Shiv and they are same, then it's fine. But Ananyata means, like for example, in front of Tulsidas, Krishna came in front of him. He said, I want to see you in a Dhanushban form only. He had Ananyata. He knows Krishna and they are both the same. But still, he had that Ananyata that I have always worshipped you with bow in your hand and not this flute. So I want to see you in that form. So Krishna said, so be it. I'll come over. So if we have that understanding, doesn't matter. But it is recommended that whichever Ishtadev we have chosen, you start building that connect. It's an easier process, and then you will go more deeper into that. It's both are same actually, if you look at it. So that is my understanding of it, because if I will sit in Roop Dhyan, I will not do one day for this and one for, although are same, so I'll continue to.
Yeah, that is my question. When you do the Roop Dhyan, I understand they are one, but when you do the Roop Dhyan and offer the bhog, so then you just do it to Radha Krishna, right? Not to worry about Sita Ram then.
Not worry, I mean, they will also be there. They'll not, you can ask this to Swamiji. It's not worry, but you understand they're all the same basically.
Because they're both in my temple, so I don't know. I don't want to be partial.
True. So this thing that I'm being partial, or I'll do little bit to everybody, otherwise, this deity may not. That understanding we have to basically correct in our mind. I think you can ask this to Swamiji.
So this is a big dilemma for me. Which
so we need to get over that. We need to get over that mindset. That is what Swamiji tells us, right? Because the true understanding or true knowledge is they are the same basically. My Ishtadev only in a different mood or in a different form.
Yeah, but what you would do when you offer the food? So how you offer the food?
You can offer it to everybody. I mean, food with the consciousness that you're offering it to the God, to the different form of God. It's you're my God only, right? So it's not like okay, you don't discriminate in your mind. That is the essence of part of it. If you offer everything to Shiv and say, all right, I know Krishna, Ram, you are also taken care of, and you believe that, that is more than enough. But if there is a doubt, then go ahead and put 1/3, 1/3, 1/3. That is also fine. But the knowledge is they're all the same.
So is it okay? You offer and
okay, don't quote me, okay? Tomorrow somebody got to say, why did you misguided Shashiji? She used to offer me food and you said it's okay. So you go and check with Swamiji.
No,
How should
but
we
I'm
approach
going to
this?
say it here. You offer to Maharaji, and then you think he's, he's Ram, he's, Krishna, he's Radha, everything is in him. So
Yeah,
you just offer it to Maharaji, right?
that is more than enough actually. That is also another way of looking at it. If you are convinced, that is more than enough. It's all
Okay,
the same.
good.
Krishna will
Thank you.
not say, God, you did it not to me, but to, only. So that is, if you're convinced about it, Tattva Gyan is pakka, absolutely no problem. But you can ask this with Swamiji, just to get a stamp of approval on it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want Lord Krishna knocking on my door and saying, Shashi used to offer food and what did you tell? And then, but if he does that, it'll be a good thing. But you ask Swamiji just to be convinced of it. Okay, last one we can take, and then we'll get. It will take some time. Maybe we can come back after the presentation. Couple of answers. Say Ashimaji, we can quickly take.
Kumarji is saying that Sashiji, you ignored Shri Ram at your own peril.
Okay. You are in the spotlight, Urvi, and then we'll take the remaining hands. Maybe we can take quickly Ashimaji. I think we have time. Real quick, Ashimaji, if we can do that, and then we'll have Urvi with our presentation.
Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe.
So let me see if I can frame this right. So if one has the purpose clear, how does one practice ananyata? What is the best way to validate the path to take? So I'll give you a little bit of a background. So I know what business I'm into now. It's I'm offering educational courses, but I very strongly feel like my spirituality will eventually feed into it. So there will be a spiritual aspect of it. So I'm trying to validate what is the best path I can take to get to that.
Sure. So Ashimaji, can you fill in the feedback tracker? If you've already done that, let's have a good discussion on this topic. It's definitely not a 2-minute topic. There'll be some nuances to it as well, but we will bring it in the session for the benefit of everybody. I would like to have that offline conversation with you. Please fill in the feedback tracker. Recommend everybody else to do that as well. If you have any questions, I think we can discuss more on this topic because it will take a little bit more time. So,
okay, got it.
Thank you. Okay, over to you, Urvi, and then we'll come back for the remaining hands, time permitting, because we have a hard stop at 10. So over to you, Urvi. You have good 15-16 minutes to go with it.
Radhe Radhe, am I audible?
Yes.
Okay, so I am not able to share my screen, so please allow me.
Can somebody make Urvi multiple? Okay, I've changed some settings. Check it out now. Are you able to?
Shyamji, you have to make her co-host because host.
Yes, I'm able to share it now.
Okay, good. Go ahead then.
Is my screen visible?
Yes.
Is it
visible?
It's
not
visible
yet.
now. It's visible, isn't it? No?
It's visible? Okay, yes, it's visible now. Okay, Shyam Bhai has said so it has to be visible. Go ahead.
Okay, just a minute.
Yes, we can see it now.
Okay, so today I'll be presenting Shwapach Bhakt Valmiki Ji Leela, and actually it is a Leela of Sri Krishna wherein he's used the example of Bhakt Valmiki Ji to reveal to us a secret and also convey some important messages. So Shwapach Bhakt Valmiki Ji, he was born in the Shwapach clan, and they used to pick up unwashed utensils in the palace of the Pandavas. And although he was born in a lower caste, but he was a great devotee, and he was considered to be an avatar of Yamraj. So the story goes like, once upon a time, post the Kurukshetra war, King Yudhishthir, he organized a huge yagya in which great saints and sages were invited. And then before the yagya, Lord Krishna, he went to King Yudhishthir and he presented him a conch shell, and he told him that if the yajna is accomplished without error, this conch will produce a sound by itself to reveal your glory to the world. But then he warned Yudhishthir that you have to remember that if it produced no sound, then it would be because of some error in the yajna, and then you cannot consider the yajna to be complete. So Yudhishthir said, okay. And then the conch shell was placed there, the yajna happened, and it was accomplished well. But what happened is, all the invited guests, saints, sages, they were given prasad, and they were all happy. They accepted it with love, and they departed. But the conch shell, it produced no sound. The Pandavas and Panchali, that is Draupadi, knew that something remained missing in the yajna, and therefore they decided to go to Lord Krishna and to know that what actually happened and what were the shortcomings. So Yudhishthira went to Krishna and he said that, hey Madhav, please let me know the shortcomings of the yajna that was performed. Krishna said that today I'll reveal to you the secret, and then you'll know what is missing. So the secret is, now Lord Krishna, he'll reveal the secret for which he set up this Leela. So this is an important part. He said that although great saints and sages, everybody visited this yajna and participated, but no supreme Vaishnav saint ate food. And then Sri Krishna said, so this, he revealed the secret to get the devotee which was required to be present in the yajna. So he revealed that the devotee who has no pride of caste, creed, knowledge, etc., who is simple, who considers himself to be a slave of the slaves, and who is without the slightest smell of pride, has a special place in my heart. So this is the secret Lord Krishna revealed. And then he said that if you desire to complete the yajna, then bring such a devotee and feed him. So Yudhishthir said, but I've never seen someone like this, so I don't know where to bring such a devotee from. I don't think he exists in this world. So Lord Krishna said, no, he comes to your palace day and night, but he keeps his secret, he keeps his devotion secret, does not reveal it to anyone, so you don't know about it. Because this is how my devotees are. They do not carry their spirituality in their sleeves, they keep it secret. So then Yudhishthira, he was mesmerized, and he said, oh wow, then please let me know the name, I would like to touch his feet. Then Lord Krishna, he was in a dilemma. He said, he thought that he wanted the yajna to be completed, but on the other hand, he also feared that if he revealed the name, then the devotee, he could become hesitant and leave the city, move somewhere else. But however, Yudhishthir said that they'll bring him to the palace, feed him properly, and asked Krishna to kindly reveal the name. He then told Yudhishthir that go to Shwapach Bhakt Valmiki ji's house and bring him here, for he's a true saint without any vices. Also, he asked the Pandavas to go by themselves and not send any messenger. The reason he gave was Sant Milan ko jaiye taj maya abhiman, jo jo pag aage dhare koti yagya saman. Once you realize that someone is a true saint, and then when you go to meet that saint, keep your pride over here, because when you move ahead with that intention, then every step is more than crores and crores of yajnas. So Bhim and Arjun, they went to Valmiki ji's house to invite him to their place for a meal in the morning, and Lord Krishna told them to always keep in mind, while they were going, he told them that keep in mind that the material intellect cannot fathom the divine activities of saints. Therefore, we should never think unfavorably about them, as that would spoil our devotion and we'll end up committing nama aparadh. When they reached Valmiki ji's house, he was first hesitant, but when they prayed to him humbly and they told him that they'll eat only after he does, then Valmiki ji, he agreed to come to their palace. And as they reached the palace, Bhim and Arjun, with this good news that Valmiki ji is coming, Lord Krishna instructed Draupadi to cook food for their special guest by herself. And next morning, Valmiki ji, he visited the palace. The Pandavas very humbly brought him inside, served him the food prepared by Draupadi, and various kinds of delicacies were made. But Valmiki ji, he did not care about tasting the sweet, sour, spicy foods, one by one. Rather, he just mixed up everything, and then he started eating. So Draupadi, she was like, oh Lord, as per Govind's order, I prepared different types of delicious dishes for him with so much feeling, but he ruined all my hard work. Does anyone ever eat like this? So, she was kind of irritated. So then, now on the simultaneously, Draupadi had that thought, and on the other hand, as soon as Valmiki ji ate the first morsel of the Mahaprasad, of the Rasmai Prasad, the conch shell started producing sound. However, in some time, it stopped again. It stopped producing the sound. So that made Lord Krishna angry. And he said to the conch shell that it seems to me that you do not know the effect of devotion very well. The conch shell said, oh Vasudev, I'm not at fault in this. Please ask the reason for this from Queen Draupadi. So now Draupadi, she said, yes, the conch shell is saying the truth. Seeing the humiliation of my culinary skills, a thought came in my mind that after all, he belongs to a Shwapach Jati. What would he know about how to enjoy the taste of food properly? And then Lord Krishna, he just smiled and he looked at Valmiki ji and he said that you are mixing all the ingredients together. There must be some reason for this. Please reveal the reason to all of us. So Valmiki ji, he smiled and he said that Lord, you've already enjoyed all these delicacies. And after you enjoy it, it all becomes Mahaprasad. So how can I taste the dishes differently, merely considering this to be delicious food? And I just have this knowledge that every particle of the prasad is your blessing, which gives rise towards you, which gives rise to love towards you in the heart. So, looking at this, Draupadi, she realized her mistake and asked for forgiveness from the bottom of her heart. And then the conch shell produced a sound, and the yajna was accomplished. So, the key takeaways are the secret that the devotees who are simple and without any pride have a special place in God's heart. They are very dear to him. And the key takeaways are we cannot understand the divine acts of saints with our material intellect. Devotion is the name of imbibing in the heart selfless love for our Lord. Bhakti does not expect any caste, clan, creed, or community. It has no limitations. Bhakta Yukta Chandal, Bhakti Yukta Chandal Govind Radhe, Bhagwan ka hai pran pyara bata de. If someone is a Chandal and if he is filled with devotion, he is very dear to God. Shwapach bhi bhakt ho to Govind Radhe, Koti karmi jnani te bhi shresht bata de. Even if a devotee belongs to a lower caste, it does not matter. The body, it does not matter. What matters is what inside. So even if someone is a Shwapach and he is a devotee, he is much, much better than crores of karmakandis and jnanis. So this is for today. Thank you, Radhe Radhe.
Outstanding, Urvi. You are an amazing storyteller as well. You sing well, write well, and today you have narrated it so beautifully. It was a long story, and you just brought it out so beautifully. So many people, I can see so many hearts and clappings for you. I would let people ask you questions because we have a little bit of time, but I loved it. And the best part was you were not only able to narrate it in time by doing a full justice, you got the key nuggets out of it as well, right? The shapach, what basically endears God. Loved it. And I'm looking forward to your next presentation. Okay. I'm not going to reveal the secret. Okay. So let's hear from other participants, but thank you, Urvi. You are very inspirational. Let me put it that way. Just hang on to all the the spiritual blessings that you have and the inspiration that you have. It's super inspiring. I must say that. Let's give an opportunity to participants to tell how spellbound they were when you were talking and narrating the story. So yes, go ahead, Sandhya.
Truly awesome, Bhai. The way she said all those things and the way the amount of knowledge she has, it shows the depth she goes into everything, whether it is whatever you call it, spirituality, knowledge, devotion, your mindset, your heart set, everything is there to the core of it. So true. Radha, God bless you always, Vijay.
You walk around with Maharajji's armor around you. Okay, you know that. So that is what does the trick all the times. Outstanding, very nice. Yes, Sandhya, you wanted to add something?
Yeah,
Sandhya?
Radhe Radhe, amazing presentation. I really felt it was so rustic. Like it was bringing out those elements of love so amazingly well. And when you were saying the dialogues of Draupadi, your voice was modulating accordingly. And I really, really appreciate that. So, your narration skills, voice modulation, and bhav, most importantly, was just amazing. Thank you so much for this wonderful presentation, Urvi. Keep it up.
It
Radhe
had a
Radhe.
lot of ras in it, bhakti ras in it, and go for the ras, RAS. Okay, all the best for that. She's going for RAS, by the way, so that's another ras.
Yeah,
All
we
the,
have all the comments by from people.
yes, let's
Shefali
put in
said,
those, and then Kumarji,
yeah,
you wanted to add something as well?
Radhe
Kumar,
Radhe, everyone. Very nice storytelling, Urvi ji. Um, I had the comment for Shashi ji that don't ignore Ram. It was told as a joke, just to kind of clarify that. The reason why I'm saying is I was in similar doubts till many years back. I'm born in a Shaivite family. My Kuladev is Shanmuga, or Lord Murga, as he's called, son of Shiva. And of course, whenever we did pujas, we started with Ganpati, right? Is our starting of everything God. And then we have Vishnu's name immediately come up. And I'm like, which God? Like, what is this? It's so confusing. Which God to kind of pray? And then my mom started telling me stories as a small child. My mom said stories of Hanuman and how he helps Ram. And this kind of I don't know why, from that time onwards, whenever I hear Lord Hanuman's name, tears well up my eyes.
That's
So,
nice.
and you know what? And whenever I hear Hanuman Chalisa, I read that part of Ramayana again. Goosebumps goes up. So now I have no doubts. Swamiji has also said all gods are forms of the same one God. See, once you have that clear in your mind, then you won't feel that, hey, am I leaving out Ram or Shiv or whoever it is? They're all the same. And
Thank you for reiterating that, Kumarji.
yeah, thank you, Radhe Radhe.
Thank you. So I'm just going to reiterate Urvi, great Urvi ji. Surya Prakash is saying that. Shefali is saying mind blowing Urvi. Then we have, awesome Lakshmi Prasanna ji is saying, and then very inspiring storytelling, amazing presentation Urvi. It was totally Rasik. Sandhya is saying, simply wow. Rahul ji is saying, best moral story I've heard from Urvi so far. No words to say. Mahishasur Mardini is saying that. Okay, so Sakshat Durga is saying that. Can you believe it? And Jignasa ji saying very beautiful presentation. Thank you, Radhe Radhe. And is this something covered by Maharaji? So this was pretty amazing, and we look forward to that, Urvi. This segment now. Now the next presentation that you're going to do will give you a little more time, because I can see you can narrate stories. I don't want to rush you, so you can take your time, bide your time. Another 5 minutes will not hurt us. So you can narrate it much more, but it is pretty amazing the way you narrated it, and thank you again for bringing in this flavor to our sessions. Wonderful. We have 1 more minute. Real quick. Have a wonderful rest of your day, great rest of your evening. Look forward to seeing you tomorrow. We have a book club coming up, so you can stay back for that. Any announcements, Shyamji?
I have posted the links by for all announcements for the Navratri Mahotsav going on in the temple, and for the Maharaj Swamiji's tour of India. And that's it, I guess. These 2 main events as of now.
Okay, great, wonderful.
Navratri happening at the temple, Dallas, RKT.
Great. And tomorrow we will talk about the peace formula. Okay, you all want peace or not, right? So we'll talk about that in tomorrow's session, and then we graduate into the Karam Yoga part of it. So have a wonderful day, great rest of your evening. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow, and thank you again, Urvi, for a wonderful, wonderful presentation, and thank you everybody for the opportunity. Radhe Radhe, good night, good day.
Radhe Radhe, everybody. Sunil Bhai, Radhe Radhe, over to you.
Radhe Radhe, thank you, Shyamji, Radhe Radhe, and thank you, Nitin Bhai, thank you, Rahulji, and Urvi. What can I say? Speechless. Is amazing as always. Awesome. Thank you very much for a beautiful presentation. So stay back now as we start our journey on the 7 divisions. So today, let's start the recording. Let's see the recording. Let's stop this recording here, so we can